buffering, processing. We're all cool. All right, so we got 12 and a half minutes. Entonces,
Ooh.
nice shirt. For sure. And you had some. You were coming from the studio. You had classes today.
No, I was running some errands.
Oh, okay.
I was running some.
Yo,
Yeah.
I didn't realize like how long errands take.
The traffic in Miami makes like going to the store a whole adventure.
Yeah, literally. And okay, so I have actually a little bit of background in dispatch, which so okay. Do you remember? No, you don't. Well, anyways, there was a student. His name was Eddie Sixto, who actually, when I first took over the business, he was kind of helping me out and like changing in general, like the structure of the business for better, just for basic marketing stuff, which I didn't know anything. I was 19, and he ended up giving me a little job, which was dispatching. Which basically he would install, in simple terms, you know what a low jack is? So it's like it's a GPS tracking device. Like basically, if somebody steals your car, you can go get it. Like you know exactly where it is. So he would have installers, and he would go install low jacks. So basically, I would be on the computer, like knowing the addresses of the clients, and then I would kind of route out what's best. Like okay, if they're down in Miami, okay, then we go out west, and then we take Turnpike North, and then we hit 595 East, and so I would like make it work instead of doing back and forth and wasting time and gas and money, essentially.
Right.
So back to the errands thing is that like now it's like, okay, when I go down south to the studio is when I'll go ahead and hit the bank or get gas or whatever. Like because if not, like if I'm just constantly just doing trips just to do trips, like the second that it comes to my head, like literally
Right.
not gonna have time for anything. And it ends up being like, I guess you could say like a solid day of errands where it's like groceries, bank for whatever reason, you go see family or whatever, and then just like hit all of that. At least that's what it ends up being for me. It's
Literally, if I do errands, it has to be like on my day off so that I can do everything that I need to do without worrying about time and everything. Because
right, and then there's the gym, right? Like what? And then,
right,
right, and then and eating
a
healthy.
whole other day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like geez, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah,
Just to
I've
be,
been seeing you going to the gym super early in the morning now.
yeah.
You've been going back.
After Jeanette, like no lie, I've been trying to figure this. Okay, I've been working out on an inconsistent basis for 20 years. I have like literally like I mean, it also makes sense that the people that do it consistently, from what I've seen, like I'm talking about like years, because that's what I'm going for, right? You know, that they have to do in the morning, just because if the day gets in any way complicated, this is my experience, of course. If the day at all gets in any way complicated, or you get too tired or whatever,
Right.
like it just ends up just not happening. So it's like when there's literally no, like the variable is the same. All you got to do is just beat the whole waking up thing, right? Which just so happens to be my hardest thing to do. Yeah. Are you the same? You're a night person too?
I am. I'm a night owl. It's like to function, this has been my entire life, even when I was a kid, like doing anything, any physical activity, like early in the morning was just always so difficult for me. Like, just give me a second to
Right.
fully wake up and to fully be functioning, and I'll go hard. Even like late at night, like I'll be training until 11, 10, 11, like as a 10-year-old, and I'd be fine. But in the morning, I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Trust me. I feel you. Um,
Training yourself. But
yeah. No. So yeah. So just for me, it's like I've okay. So like there's like that. There's a truth behind the like sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like I'm so tired of making excuses of not going for so long that now, even though it radically sucks and that doesn't change, and that's a huge awareness too. Like I needed to get real with myself and say like I don't like the gym. Like I need to tell myself that, so then I can then beat that and go anyway. Because I was like, oh yeah, I love it, yeah, get in that whole like mental. No.
Yeah. And then when the motivation wasn't there, you're like,
Of course, yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah.
so now it's like there's no excuse. So one of the key elements for me that's also helped is the day. Let's say today's Monday. Tuesday starts tonight. So like how if I want to wake up at 5:30. Well, 5:30 minus 9, that's 9:30. My ass needs to be asleep by 9:30 in order to do that, right? So that's obviously helped radically. Also, I see you with your bottle of water all the time. If I chug a bottle of water or whatever, I hit my gallon, boom, like, and I go hard on it. 8 hours later, I need to go to the bathroom so bad.
Right.
That I'm officially already out of bed, possibly even before then. Also, if you haven't heard about this app, it's called Sleep Cycle. Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Yo, life changer. Okay, so there's you get like you're more awake and you get into deeper sleep, and then right. Okay, so this alarm clock, it's an alarm clock. It just you set a range instead of a set time. You set a range. So let's say 30 minutes. So you want to wake up at 5:30. So it'll wake you up at some time between 5 and 5:30, but while you're on the way up. What a radical difference. Like you're like, it's more like, okay, for example, I'm more pleasantly woken up earlier on the way up than later with my hardcore alarm clock, which apparently I was at some deep sleep. I was like, all groggy and whatever. And again, this is me like nasty, like trying to study this because I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to beat myself. Like that's constantly what I'm doing. Like the way that I'm hard on all the instructors and all that. Like I'm on myself. I'm just crazy. Like almost addicted to how can I figure this out. So long story short, mornings. Like it has to. That's the only way that everything stays consistent and manageable. It might be difficult, but I would rather it be the same. So I kind of know what to expect, because it's the randomness that kind of throws your day in a loop. So at least again, that's in my experience. So that's helped a lot. Granted with energy and just time, because you and I have a to-do list to time out. It's just like impossible. But if I'm, gymmed out, breakfast out, breakfast. And that's another thing. I can't stand breakfast either. Like never. I would never do breakfast because we would work late, go to sleep late, wake up late, and then you're not hungry. Immediately start working. But what does immediately start working is at 11, if that's that early, it's noon, 1, 2. So that you're working all the way through until class. You got to be at class at 5, 6, 7. Everyone's there. Everyone's got a question after class. Nobody wants to ask questions during class. Everyone wants to ask questions after class.
What's up with that?
Yeah. Wild, right? So, and then sure enough, by the time you get home, it's 10:30, 11:30. Maybe you want to watch a show or something. God forbid, you want to watch a show. You want to entertain yourself somehow.
For a second, relax.
And then it's tomorrow. Just like that.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow, So, I just try to do everything that I can to just get to sleep as soon as possible. And then try to enjoy the day. As much as I'm a night person, it's just, I literally like having to like just change. Like, if I want the results that I want, essentially at the end of the day, right? Because I don't have to do shit, essentially, right? And none of us have to do anything, right? But the reason why I've been, also, my boy David, David, Emilio's friend and Enanito, super cool cat. So he just so happens to live like you jump over the fence like it's his house, like It's
Oh
the
wow.
other. It's the next neighborhood, but like you can literally like jump over a fence, and his house is there. So the second that we were on the cruise and we found out that we were living next to each other, we're like, dude, we gotta get up, link up, blah blah blah. So that's what's kind of been happening until this LA Fitness here by the house opens up. So that's been easier too. Granted, if you have somebody to go with,
Yeah.
of course. So
Yeah.
things are kind of lining up, but at the same time, like right around now, I would normally text them and I said, actually, you know what? Let me do that right now. I'm gonna say, yo, what time tomorrow? Because if
Right.
not, I'm gonna do that
Oh
right.
yeah. Absolutely. I have a gym buddy too. I used to go with Marcos, my boyfriend, but he goes way too early for me.
Okay,
Like a
okay.
little too early. So I'm like, okay, I accepted that that doesn't really work for me. The times that I would go with him, I wasn't the most productive. My mood wasn't the best. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get the results that I want being with this in
Well,
this
you
energy.
because you're going to sleep later by default because you're working later. I mean, that makes sense.
Right. So I then decided a time that worked best for me, and now I have a girlfriend that goes with me, and we have a good time, and it's motivating. And now she's like, "When are we going next?" And
But
so it definitely helps having someone to keep you accountable
no,
for
no,
sure.
absolutely. And which we'll talk about obviously today. It's those little types of things that help with because like today's topic, what I'm going to talk about is not what everyone thinks. Like the definition of passion is a little bit different than what a lot of people like believe it is. It's more like what like when you have a passion for something, you're willing to sacrifice things.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's more of like on the enduring side versus the I love it. No, it's not so much that I love it as opposed to you're willing to like lay down your life. And again, we'll go into a little bit of the spirituality into that, but like that's essentially what it is. It's um, so any little thing like a gym buddy or whatever, those kind of like make things a little bit easier.
For
FYI,
sure.
we got, it's like 30 seconds left. So the text message. See, look, that was 15 minutes, by the way, what we just
Oh
did.
wow.
Right? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the text message will go out right at 8 o'clock, and then we'll give it a second, and then I'll just hide myself. By the way, for those of you that are already tuning in, hello, what's going on? Feel free to drop your comments. Please participate in our convo. You have no idea how much energy and life that brings to the conversation. So thank you so much for that. Continuing to tune in for all of the above. Oh, good. Okay, so we just got 2 subscribers right now, which hopefully they'll receive the link in time. You're on the podcast list, right? Are you receiving those messages when we
Yeah.
send those out?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so that should be coming in just a second. There it is. At least I got it just now. Join the party. All right, cool. All right, so we'll get this show rocking and rolling here. I just got to disappear myself here. Hold on a second. Let's just wait for a few more to hop on.
So
Just writing the
it's now.
notes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just now that my animals, they were all calm. Now they want to
Oh yeah, of course,
just
absolutely. They're like what? They're like what? You're going live now? Okay, perfect. This is my time. This is my shot for fame here. It's beautiful.
Oh my god.
Just writing these notes just is like already just like crazy like
Mm.
definitely takes some passion to do that. All right. So let's go ahead and get this rock and roll in here. People will be hopping on in a second. All right. So I'm gonna disappear now, and the floor. Oh, there we go. And the floor is yours, mademoiselle.
Awesome. Alrighty. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Salsa Kings Live. I'll be your host for today. A little bit of a change. My name is Jeanette Fiallo, and I am co-owner of Salsa Kings. Salsa Kings. And I'm really honored to be here today. We are celebrating the 100th episode of Salsa Kings Live, which is amazing if you really think about it. 100 episodes that Andres has done. Insane. And it's such good quality podcast too. If you haven't listened to them, you have to tune in. If you're a dancer, if you just like connecting with people in general, is he talks about some really cool things that puts things into a different perspective, again, as a dancer and as a non-dancer. So I recommend you guys go and listen to that. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about passion, which I'm really excited to hear what Andres has to say about it. As dancers, we all experience some type of passion for what we do. So I'm excited to hear about that. All of our guests pick their own topics, so we'll see what Andres has to say about that. But before we get into it, I have to give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors that we have. First one is My Dance Shirts, which if you don't have a My Dance shirt, you need to get one immediately. They create shirts for dancers by dancers. So basically, if there's any design that you want on a shirt, you just email it to them and they'll literally create it for you, whatever color, design. They're super cool to work with. If you want a little bit more information, info@mydanceshirts.com. Also, visit the website, mydanceshirts.com. They have so many designs. There's a bunch of I've designed myself. This is made from there too. But yeah, go check it out. Our next sponsor, we have Miami Salsa Cruise. Miami Salsa Cruise was such a blast. They had so much fun this last time. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but next year I'm for sure going. So here's a little bit of detail. So your favorite Latin dance getaway will be going January 21st through the 28th, 2024. Oh, there's Luna. She's making a little appearance. Hey girl, how you doing? So it's 8 days, 7 nights, starting at less than $100 a day. So this is a long cruise, and it's way cheaper than most cruises. If you know, you know. So a couple places that we're going to be going to, excuse my pronunciation, going to Cozumel, Mahogany Bay, and Costa Mia. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Live sets of music every night. There'll be workshops from the instructors. It's just a really good time. So if you want a little bit more information, go to miamisalsacruise.com. You can sign up for all the details there. All righty. Let's go ahead and get into it. But before we bring Andres on, I want to share a couple of facts about him. And, I've known Andres for about 8 years now, and my relationship with him has definitely transformed my life and has brought a lot of blessings into my life. So here's a couple points about Andres. He, of course, is my business partner at Salsa Kings, which I'm super blessed to have. He has been teaching social dance in Casino for 18 years. He is owner of Salsa Kings for 17 years now. He is certified in El Método del Cuadro de Casino. He is also teacher of teachers. So he has certified over 50 instructors in the World Salsa Federation program. I myself am included in that. We now have a new group that is going through that same process, same journey. So it's really, really cool that he does that, because at least that I know, no other schools really certify their instructors. And to have a national board certification for this is really important, so that we're all on the same page and that we have quality instructors in our scene. So also, Andres is a super cool guy. If you know him, he is so fun. He's funny, and he's been a really good friend of mine. He's also been an amazing mentor. Ever since I joined Salsa Kings as an owner in 2020, I have learned so much about the business, and I'm just super grateful for him. So let's go ahead and bring him on board so we can go ahead and get into the topic of passion.
What's up? What's going on?
What's up,
I'm not interviewing this time, so I can be me.
Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? How's your day?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. This is definitely it's a little bit different being on this side of the table, for sure. For sure. This is fun though. I'm excited, but I do have the little butterflies going. I got the
Awesome. So before anything, Andres, go ahead and tell us about yourself. Give us a little bit of your past, a little bit of history. Just share a little bit about you.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, definitely grateful for all of you guys watching, all of you guys listening. Thank you, Jeanette, for definitely filling this role. Had a few requests about kind of me and my story, which is certainly humbling as well. But essentially, me, I have possibly the exact opposite of what everyone may think. First of all, my name is Andres Fernandez III. My grandfather on my father's side, his father's name Andres, his brother's name Andres. On my dad's side is Cuban. I was born here in the United States. My father is Cuban, but he came here when he was really young. He actually caught one of the last flights out of Cuba before the revolution. Funny story. My mother, I found this out relatively recently. Back in the day, apparently this was allowed. But my grandmother, with regards to my mother, she was in labor, or she was in labor on the plane on the way from Ecuador to the United States. So that's like wild. Like the whole thing happened. And they were trying to land in Cuba to take care of her while she was on the way. And my grandfather was flipping the shit, dude. He was like, no, my daughter is being born in the United States of America. I can't. No, flipping out, like completely flipping out. Which was, it's just wild to kind of like see like all of the randomness that kind of happens here. So my mom and dad, they meet in Jersey. Apparently both of them kind of didn't want to go out that night. Both of their friends convinced them to go. And of course they meet on the dance floor, right? Go figure. Wow. And so I'm the younger brother. And my grandmother on my father's side, I found this out that my grandmother kind of, I guess the word is shames my mother into having me, because my mother didn't want to have a second child after having my brother. So basically convinced her in a negative, no. You're going to have a second child.
You're have another baby.
Oh, you're having another baby. You're not going to leave my grandson alone in this world like that. And meanwhile, my father's parents are both ministers in the Presbyterian Church, or they were in New York. And so go figure, she's iron fist, boom, this is the way it goes, and that's it. So, and then I come out with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, which makes a lot of sense why, some people think I got some loose screws up in my head. So, so that was crazy. My aunt, who was my nurse, my mother's sister, basically ended up saving my life. Go figure. Wild.
Wow.
Yeah, so fast forward a little bit, my parents ended up getting divorced, but my mother's boyfriend was extremely influential. First, I guess you could say, outside mentor in my life, handed me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. For those of you that did not or have not yet read this book, it's life-changing in the way that, as far as for perspective financially is concerned. I guess let me back up a little bit as far as for overall me. I am a financial advisor. I am an ordained minister, obviously entrepreneur as well. So it kind of puts perspective as to kind of the details that I'm sharing now, if I would. So Rich Dad Poor Dad was kind of the first thing as far as for perspective, entrepreneurship, money management, that whole deal, just kind of putting that as a priority and perspective. A little bit about Andres pre-dance, 8th grade dance. I volunteered to be, I was on the TV production team.
Yeah, I was too back in the day.
Were you really? That's what's up.
I couldn't stand it.
Did you? That's funny. Back then, for me, I'm for those of you that really, really know me, I'm radically shy. Dance has definitely, oh my gosh, no, insane. Dance has definitely opened me up with regards to confidence. I definitely think for any parents that are listening to involve their child in dance, male or female, get that crap stereotypes out of your head. There's just so much to be learned on an intangible level. The value that it brings to your life is radical. So getting into that, so I was on the TV production team, and I volunteered to record the entire 8th grade dance with my own camera, just so that I didn't have to dance. So actually, in that day, the reason why I did that was because I was the cool guy. Because in that day, it was 2002. I actually had one of those first little cameras, but it was still with a tape. So I was still here, and I was cool because the ones at the school were the bigger ones, right? So I was like Mr. Cool Guy. I'm like, and you know, some of the girls were, come on, come dance. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta record. Dude, it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. So crazy how all this happened. So fast forward a little bit more. My boy, Julio. Shout out to Julio. I think you're listening. I love you, brother. Thank you for everything and all that you've done, you and your family. Elaine, his mother, introduced me to both Christianity and salsa, which is wild. So we're having like I used to knock out and chill with him at his house all the time. His family's so loving and welcoming, and I ended up like whatever we finished playing outside or whatever. I ended up coming out the shower, and the entire family is blasting salsa and dancing in the living room. So I'm just caught completely off guard. I'm just kind of standing there like, what is going on? And of course, she just grabs me by the hand and she brings me in, right? And I'm like, so, you know, for anyone that knows, I mean, you just have those radically uncomfortable feelings. You're 100% outside of your comfort zone. Yeah. But sure enough, just like everything, always you realize that you survived at the end of it, and you're not dead, right? Like your fight or flight, like kind of like brain activates, right? Like, oh my God, I need to get out of here because I'm gonna die. No, you're not gonna die. You're just learning something new. And so that ended up happening, and I ended up alive out of it, which was great. So then, 10th grade, I'm in biology, and of course, the cute girl sitting next to me, she goes, Andres, she kind of tricked me into this. This was good. She goes, Andres, if I start going to salsa classes, will you be my partner? Meanwhile, I'm in Weston. Yeah. This is in biology. This is what we're talking about in biology, right? So, will you be my partner? And I'm like, yeah, obviously. She takes out a Salsa Kings card. She takes out a Salsa Kings business card, and she goes, okay, it's down in Miami. Meanwhile, I'm the one with the card. She ain't got no car. Yeah, so I'm the one that's got to go pick her up. I'm the one that's got to go drive all the way down to Miami. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, she's small. She's small for sure. Of course I'll be a partner, right? Right, of course, right. So this is, you know, what is it? 20 years later, I'm seeing this, right? But anyways, so I go to my first salsa class. This is okay. Oh God. For those of you that know Elba, our beloved founder, one of the most beautiful women in the world, God bless her soul. So I go to my first salsa class. Meanwhile, my boy Julio, he already has some moves, right? So I've been like, you know, I asked him like one night, you know, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and we're not going to sleep like we should be. And I'm like, bro, how do you know the difference between salsa and merengue? Like, what's the difference? Like, what is it, right? So it's just wild that these questions, I kind of want everybody to know that these questions came out of my mouth too. Like everyone goes through this journey, right? Unless you're just born in it, which that wasn't the case for Andres Fernandez III. Right. Which is I'll tell you that story later, how much I got bullied by my students while I was teaching. But anyways, so I go showing up to my first class with some moves, right? And Elba, she grabs me by my wrist harder than anyone in my life, looks at me into my soul. You can't dance. Yo. Now. God bless her soul. But I love this woman. Let me make this clear. I love this woman. She means well all the time. But, she's just a little rough around the edges. Okay? So from what I understand, for a lot of people, that pushed a lot of people away because situations like that apparently were very common whenever she was around. So for me, however, for those of you that know me, it's like, excuse me? Do you know who I am? Like, type deal.
Yeah.
So that basically just lit the everlasting fire. Just the.
Yep, that'll do it.
I can't do what? Like, she could have said, you can't clean my whole house in an hour. She could have said anything. But she just put you can't in front of it, and I would have done it at that instant.
Right.
Granted, of course, like, this is a very difficult process the whole time. But anyways, so that kind of lit this whole thing, right? Fast forward another year, I'm already like, so back in the day, there was a little like instruction, little booklet, like you would take an 8.5 by 11, chop it into 4, staple it, and they would have the different syllabus turns, right? Because we would do for a casino back in the day, right? This is 2005-ish. So like I would borrow the book. I would borrow the book from the instructor. They had it folded in their back pocket. They would look at what material to teach for the day. And I would go writing it down, like, to try and like get ahead or whatever, right? Like I knew back in the day what El Niño meant, like when I had, just like learning a chufa.
Right.
So anyways, the whole point is that, again, remember, I'm still like rich dad, poor dad mentality. Like I'm like, okay, I see the business, I see the people, I see the energy, I see the life, I like this is cool. Meanwhile, I'm 17, however old I am, like think like, Pablito, maybe a little bit younger. Pablito, if you're watching, I love you, brother. Keep up the great work. And like an eighth of his skill level, like in my life. And so I'm at a birthday party where she ends up attending. And I end up approaching her, and I'm like, "Hey, Eb, I just want to let you know, like I want to end up opening up my own school." And she goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Well, that's very interesting because I'm looking to sell." And I'm like, "What?"
Nah.
Yeah, like, whoa, okay, like, dang, you hear it again. I just walk into your little glove, like, Jesus, this woman. Anyways. So beautiful. So then I start to become groomed into this process alongside Rodrigo. For those of you who know, Rodrigo El Loco. Him and I were actually going to be partners together in taking over. And again, back then it was just solely Herrera, old system, beginners 1, 2, 3, beginners 1, beginners 2, beginners 3, intermediate 1, intermediate 2, intermediate 3, advanced 1, advanced 2, advanced 3, masters, with, I believe, 3 different hours, wild, about 4 instructors-ish. And so I became an instructor, or like, helper, then instructor assistant, and then instructor, then head instructor. And then it was in 2007, August. It was the first Monday of August, 2007. I'll never forget. It was the first day that it was just me, and then it ended up being just me who ended up taking over. Within months, like 2 months, my teachers, because by default, I became my teacher's boss, like literally from one day to the next, by default, right? Within 2 months, they all end up leaving and open up their own school, which was, at first, I mean, I kind of knew already, like, things were going to go, not in particular, like, the situation that happened, but, like, this wasn't going to be easy. I knew that. So it was kind of like right off rip, like, okay, I see now. So by default, like, immediately once that happened, like, I'm like, I rounded up my best guys, and I'm like, instructor training, let's go, right? And then that was my first team. God bless you guys. Jose, I'll say your last names too. Jose Valdez, Eddie Mora. It was myself. It was the third guy. We were 3 couples. The ladies, Denise Hernandez, Anais, and Rachel. There's actually a video in the app. If you go to Smooth, it is the first video. The very first video of the Smooth. There's a Herrera and FIU. It's 3 couples. That's my original team in 2008. Right after that, those instructors left. Guys, all of the history, every single video that we've ever taken is all in the app, guys. I try to make it there so that, again, you can just see the history of the whole company. So take a look at that, guys. It's actually pretty good. Um, considering we were all little jits. So 2008, I swear to God, this moves faster. These are all important points. 2008, huge humbling point as well. I'm like, I'm gonna take over the world. We're going to Ep100. There's a bunch of Latin people there. I'm gonna pass out flyers like a maniac, right? I end up creating a flyer. I'm like, dude, I understand business. I know how this works. I'm the man. Right? I'm gonna give away 3 free classes. Everybody can come. It doesn't matter. Just come. They don't need to pay nothing. And I'm there. I'm sweating. I'm almost even like sick from how tired I am. I have a whole team. I was recruiting for months. Ep100 is the biggest Latin festival in the world, next to Brazil. Second in America. You guys got to come. We're gonna dance salsa like crazy because I had gone the year before as a student. No, 2 years. The past 2 years as a student, which was it was definitely a lot of fun when there was more salsa played. Unfortunately, now there's not as much. That's another story. And after all that work, 0 people showed up. Yeah, 0 people showed up. So another just back to the face. Okay, so it was So it was at that moment that I decided, okay, it's online. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. I'm going to focus online to people who want this. I'm just going to make myself really available. So immediately I started studying research, SEO, the whole deal. Made sure that our website was up to date. Also, I started realizing that as an instructor, I couldn't give as much value as I wanted to because I was stuck inside of this rueda system. If that makes sense. So when somebody asked me a specific question that was outside of these turn patterns that I learned, I was short of words. I couldn't really answer the question, or I would have to come up with something in the moment. Here's what you could do. Here's what you could do. Here's what you could do, versus an actual mindset. So I realized that right from the get-go there was something missing when I started actually picking up private lessons. So then I sat down. Oh my God, this was great too. I sat down with all of my instructors at the time, which we had a few locations at the time. We had North Miami along with FIU. And I sat down with my team and I'm like, guys, we're going to change this whole thing. And we need to teach people how to dance salsa de pareja. Like, screw this rueda thing. Like, that's later. That's more of an advanced concept. It's radically fun. But me, like, I'm the owner of a school and I don't know how to dance pareja. Like, I mean, I do, but I don't. You know, like systematically. You got to create a system for this. So I gathered my ladies. My ladies were, oh God, love you ladies. I'm like, tell me everything that sucks about every guy. Go. Oh my God. And I just threw up. I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh yeah, that's good. So then we created this, which will eventually formalize. The Salsa Bible. We created this principle-based system where people can actually learn how to social dance, not moves to a format that's extremely rare to find when you're out dancing, even in Miami. Unless you took classes at a Rueda de Casino school, you really can't. At least a male can't participate. Which I'm 99% sure that 99% of the people signing up for salsa classes are not trying to learn set that back-to-back complicado. Like, that is just a byproduct. They want to be able to connect with somebody and move together to a rhythm. So that's what we do. That's what we do at Salsa Kings. I mean, Janet, obviously you know that. But we take a lot of pride in that system that we created together with the team of instructors at the time. And that, of course, that system continues to evolve. A lot of my private lesson students, you, Jeanette, have created already a lot of principles that have added on to that, which has been, obviously extremely humbling and amazing as it continues to grow, as we continue to learn from each other, which is great. So in 2014, I officially became a financial advisor. I got my investment licenses along with my ministry. So I kind of created part of the ministry course is you basically write up a mission statement for yourself. You write a mission statement for your life. Like, why am I living? What am I doing? When I wake up every day, what's the purpose? right? So, essentially just having that in the back of your mind is just really, really eye-opening, which in mine is, may I become now and forever a beacon for all humans looking for a way, a path to a fulfilling and abundant life. So I just want to be essentially an example. That's it. I just want to be an example where I can connect heaven and earth. How can things be most spiritually fulfilling or enlightening while at the same time making that money? You know what I'm saying? So those two, can there's practicality in it, right? So that was created. Then we launched King's Dance Alliance as we partnered up with amazing people like Christian Rojas, Raul Martinez, Emily Bender, yourself. Joe Martin even was about to show up for Alex Pro Dance. We started opening up different styles. We were doing Mambo on 2, we were doing Bachata, we were doing on 1, we were doing Kizomba, Abdel Rodriguez, love you, brother. We partnered, started to create this amazing team of talent right out of FIU, which was phenomenal. Unfortunately, I wasn't strong enough as a leader at the time, 2014, 2015, to basically manage such amazing talent. So everyone ended up basically kind of doing their own thing after that, which it was at that point, and this is where things become a little bit more recent. It was at that time that I actually closed Salsa Kings at FIU because of what I learned about making money in business, etc. As much as I enjoyed the teaching, okay, this is a big one. My passion is teaching. It's actually not so much the salsa as it is the teaching. I'll die to watch one person's little light bulb go off in their head. Like, that could be math, that could be whatever. So with the financial advising, I was still able to get that. And there was a lot more financial opportunity for me there. So I actually closed the studio down, and since we launched King's Dance Alliance, that means that there were other divisions. So there was King's Dance Studios, which is the instruction side, King's Dance Events, which was we started doing weddings, we started doing that whole deal. You remember all that, right? You were part of all that. That was wonderful. King's Dance Store, which we started creating partnerships with other companies, shoe brands, etc., to create our own lines of product. My Dance shirts actually ended up rolling out, and we partnered up with them all the way back then, which was wonderful. And then King's Dance Company, which was our pro team, which this was of course pre-pandemic, we were getting a lot of company corporate gigs, corporate work. So like 3 couples to do a show at the end of a large conference paid really nicely. So the deal was Salsateros Dance Studio just recently opened up at that time. And so what I did was, and that was with our business partner Carlos, Giselle, and Rafael Valle at the time. And I was like, look, here's what we're gonna do. Check me out. I'll give you all the students. Just allow King's Dance Company to rehearse for free in your space, because they had a beautiful studio in the Bonefish Shopping Center on 142 and 8th Street. Still amazing. So that space was everything that they needed, right? So I officially made that transition, and I was able to be removed. I was able to remove myself physically from this business, right? 3 months later, maybe even 2 months. 2 months later. No, this is like 2 months later. Hey, Andres, our business partner Carlos now. And hey, we unfortunately can't hold up the end of our bargain anymore because we're shutting down. And I'm like, wait, I just wait, because it literally took, like, the merger took about 4 or 5 months just to make it to where, because Salsa King students didn't feel weirder than Salsateros, and the Salsateros didn't feel weirder than them. Just the politicalness of the whole deal. So in less than half the time, I'm just starting to get my momentum going in my other company, and I get this call. And so the first person that I call was my business partner at the time, Emily Bender, and I'm like, hey, I have our dream. We have our own space. And I'm like, are you down? She's like, I'm super down. And I'm like, this is going to be...
Opportunity just came from the heavens.
That's literally. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's your next challenge.
Yeah.
And I go, this is going to be really hard. This is going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done times 10. No problem. I'm ready. Let's go. The very next day, I was wearing a Salsa shirt with Emily, and we were in the studio. Fast forward. This was really hard. This rent was astronomical. We were able to do it, but having the space for 2 hours a night is different than 24 hours. Yeah. So we did everything you can imagine: party rentals, all ages parties, you name it. Like cops showing up, like everything. Whatever we needed to do, we got rent to pay. We got to move. We were living in Hollywood at the time. We were driving down every day. Locura.
I remember that.
So it was definitely a struggle. Pandemic. Boom. Okay. Rent still got to be paid, and we're shut down for 3 months. Meanwhile, I'm not stopping. We're going live every single day. All those videos are in the app. They're available for sale for $17 every single day. We taught pandemic. Those, by the way, FYI, those classes were awesome. Just letting you know. They were really good. Jeanette and I were there. We were teaching those together. They were really, really good. We put a lot of value in like 15 minutes. Really, really good stuff, guys. So check that out. If you hit us up, we'll even give you a discount code. Those are really, really good. We got you, for sure. And during the pandemic, there was a fallout between the business partners. That's when you and I, we got connected. And basically new beginnings, right? And we moved into the little space next door, 600 square feet, guys. I don't mind. I don't care. I'll say it loud and proud. God bless that little space, and God bless all you students that make that space and that energy so amazing in there. So much so that we're actually moving forward with duplicating the system. So many people are excited about it. We recently launched Cooper City. We're going to be launching a Weston location now in June, the first Wednesday in June. So stay tuned for that. We're super excited about that. We're also possibly launching in Homestead as well. And we may even be going back to FIU. And there's also talks of Tampa. So we may even be moving to the West Coast. Praise God.
We're gonna take over.
Oh my. No, well. It's because, and actually that's a perfect transition to what we'll go into today. Is there's just so much that went into it to be able to now finally have something that works to where that we can now copy paste and still create that really lively energy, while at the same time the people that are paying, they're getting the value that they're actually originally looking for. I walked into FIU paying $6 cash for my classes, driving from Weston every day down US 27 to Chrome, which back then was 2 lanes and there's no lights down there. And I'm there, a really cool guy in my little red Honda Civic, hitting myself because it's really scary. For those of you that know, Chrome back in the day was scary to drive down at night. But yeah, so we're the present now, but basically that's 18 years in, what did I do that in 30 minutes? That's kind of a long time. I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, we got it all. So back then, who would you say was your biggest influencer? Like who motivated you? Who was someone that made you want to continue pursuing dance, learning more? Like who back in your day was like that dancer that just really like inspired you?
Dancer or more like mentor, business, spirit? Like I guess where?
In the dancer. As you're a dancer at Salsa Kings, as you first started dancing, like who inspired you the most during that time?
I would say my teachers were outrageous. Lázaro, Javier, Luis Fernandez, love you, brother. Elba, Danilo, Matika, John, you know who you are. that my teachers in particular, they were just so natural. They were so organic. And for someone like me, who I consider myself to be white as they come, Andres Fernandez the third. But yeah, like and to see somebody move so awesome, so organically, just kind of like again, like with that born with it type of naturalness was just something that was just really inspiring. And of course, granted, I'm not one to let down challenges. I mean, I'm here, right? So what am I going to do? Stop? No, that's not an option. Yeah.
So how would you say that dance has changed your life? Like from who you were
Wow.
before you started dancing to who you are now? I mean, you did talk about the confidence thing a little bit and
Right.
how it's changed you. So how else has dance like transformed your life?
The I could probably wrap it up in one word. It's just awareness. There is just there's a spiritual. I guess in any art, I guess it's the same, right? There's just a spiritual awareness that is gained with oneself, with others. How do I feel, right? How does someone else feel? Like there's that type of, I guess I'll use the word again, that type of awareness is really enlightening, especially with regards to yourself. Because if we're talking about expressing ourselves with essentially, which is what art is, if we're dancing, not doing moves, if we're dancing, meaning that we're allowing ourselves to express how we're feeling. So in order to be able to do that, because again, of course, my nerd self, I'm here systematically trying to figure out the math problem of salsa. And the math problem of salsa is there is no math problem, right? That's the whole point, and that was the whole awakening for me, is that there is no math in art. They're exact opposites. So now looking at it from a different lens is okay. Now I'm going to be focusing on myself and exercising my feelings. I'm going to exercise paying attention to me. How does this song make me feel, right? Is this song? I teach this lesson a little bit sometimes in my classes for my private lessons. Okay, is this song red or is this song blue? And there's no wrong answer. It's how does it feel? So if it's red, if it's a red song, then dance it like a red song. If it's a blue song, then dance it like a blue song. But those are two different colors, two different spaces on the electromagnetic field, if you would, two different wavelengths, two different energy signatures. Then we should represent that in that way, for sure. So that for me has been huge. And then of course the social dance aspect is that the second that you're connecting with somebody else, to be able to do the same thing for that other person, being mindful of them, their experience, especially as a lead, right?
Right.
So and that just compounds infinitely into your life as you kind of know more about yourself and more about others, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple comments I want to point out. Teresa Barocas.
Yeah.
She says, "Hi guys, I'm glad to see you." Hi Teresa, thank you. And Martin Rodriguez, I miss you by the way, Martin. We all miss you.
Yes,
He
we
says, "Salsa Kings has been through lots. Keep that passion and fire. God bless always."
love you, brother.
We love you, Martin. Thank you.
For sure. For sure, for sure.
So, Andres, how long would you say it took you from complete zero beginner, like two left feet, to feeling confident on the dance floor?
Way too long. Way too long. But I also feel because I didn't have anybody tell me that being confident on the dance floor is a choice. Which is why I shoved that down everybody's throat now. It's like, dude, just stop worrying about what you're doing and just have fun now. Like, it's a choice. As long as you don't slap your feet. Right? So that for me, I would probably say my first dance. Not completed song, dance. I'll never forget it. It was and I actually said this on a previous episode too. I forget which one. But it was with one of my instructors, Miss Gina Cohen. Love you, girl. It was in Mikosuki's back in the day when they had $5 cover charge, cash bar, live band every single Wednesday with a salsa competition, $300 pareja and $1,200 rueda every single week.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, no, it was wild. It was wild. So you right, the studio's at 139. If you go down to 177, the casino Mikasuki's there. That was every Wednesday night, salsa nights there. Wow. And we just happened to dance right next to the band. So there's the band's on the stage, and we were right there. And then something just happened. I'm going through my motions, and then all of a sudden, my brain shuts off, and I just feel so good. It's like literally I just popped a salsa drug, a pill, or just something, just like, whoa, this is what the whole thing is supposed to be like. My and then that was it, and and it was just it was so fulfilling on a soul level. Okay, so to answer your question, that's probably like 3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like a solid 3, and that's with me going after that. I didn't know what I was going after, but I was going after it, which is why I feel is so important for an instructor to be able to tell the student the end goal from the start. Like, hey, like this is what you're going after, which is to have fun. Oh, by the way, you know how to do that already, so do it now. Yeah, like So then from there, it kind of unlocks them from the pressure and all the other stuff that gets in the way of actually just expressing yourself, which is essentially what we're going for.
So would you say you enjoyed it from the beginning, or did it take some time to get you like a passion for it? Like, was it immediate for you, the love for it, or did it take time for you to like start to love to dance?
Right. So no, it was 100% work. It was 100% a job. For me, it was a mission. It was a discovery. It was more curiosity that was kind of leading me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love to dance. My passion, though, again, is more for the teaching. But I because I know what it is to be fulfilled 100% completely sober, that I can go out and I can have a night on the town or even in my house with some friends, and we can just experience this bliss that doesn't cost anything. And again, this is my financial side, right? Okay, why do I need to go out and pop bottles and do all this crazy, irresponsible stuff? Whatever, you get the idea. When I can have 20 times more fun here in my house. Like I play the music because I already have this skill, which is why I feel that what we do is so invaluable. Like there's no price to it. Right. That if somebody's able to have that skill and they're able to internalize it and use it, then essentially it's a lifetime of fun. For sure.
All right. So, what is the definition of passion, and what does it mean to you?
So, passion is okay. So, I guess just prefacing a little bit. Time is our most valuable asset. There's only because it's the only thing that can't be replaced, right? So a passion is something generally, it's always looked at in not saying that I'm referring to it in the negative light, but in the positive light of this is something that you really, really enjoy, right? Versus the perspective that I kind of want to share is not so much what you enjoy. Yes, it is because you enjoy it, but it's more so because there's a lot of things you enjoy. But then there's things that you're willing to trade your time for without pay. It doesn't have to be financial, right? What are you willing to give your life? And I mean by time. What are you willing to give your life for? Like if I was in some type of system where I could be teaching all day and then I would have free food and shelter, I'm done. Whether it's math, whether it's salsa, whether it's personal finance, whether it's spirituality, whether it's Christianity, seeing people's light bulbs going off in their head, a different perspective, something to where they can move on in their life with a new awareness, essentially, that for me is everything. So my passion, what I'm willing to trade my life for, is to offer others continued perspective on things, which is why that's where a lot of the theme of my classes really comes from. I teach very differently than I would say a lot of competitors, I guess you can say, for lack of better words. But simply because it's more of the perspective of them that I'm feeding versus salsa steps. It's like there really are no salsa steps. It's just the timing that you really need to worry about. If we're talking about from a left brain perspective, you just need to step 1, 2, 3, pause, 5, 6, 7, pause, and then invent. You do whatever you want from there. And then it's like, okay, well, more like, what's the mindset behind connecting with a brand new follow, or vice versa? Connecting with a new lead. What's the mindset that we want to go into there to be able to maximize the fun behind it? So that's kind of where I guess I really wanted to talk about today, because, or at least my topic that I chose, is because there's a lot of things that we enjoy, and we can get kind of distracted with what's the shiny objects, right? Oh, I really like that, so let me do some of that. Oh, I really like that too, so let me do some of that too, right? Versus finding the passion for what you feel that you can do all day. And not only does it not take energy from you, it actually gives you life. Right? I know I feel you feel that, right? Like there's just like you can dance, like you can just physically dance. And you'll be tired, radically tired, but you'll have life, right? And you can go to sleep and you wake up the next day and you're ready to do it again, and you'll continue to, and because it's who we are, right? So I think the discovery of finding out what your passion is ultimately the only thing that's going to give you the backing to withstand all of the shit that life is going to throw your way and continue to challenge you, simply because you're just going to gain further perspective. The reason why we're at where we're at now and the amazing team that we have is because of all the shit that happened in the past. It just by default. But now, if the second that we metaphorically stop our feet, the whole thing is a waste of time. Instantly, the whole thing is a waste. It all becomes lost. It was literally meant for nothing. Which is why, if I was to go back into the timeline, the whole merger with Salsateros and keeping King's Dance Company alive was really important to me. Because at the very minimum, the crowns moved on. You know what I mean? Right. Even if it's just in a performance team or whatever, and I was able to get my finances right and come back. Whatever the case is that there's just so much. There's so much perspective that can be gained for a lot of people, which is why, again, I'm so grateful. And I know I tell you guys almost every single episode, I'm so grateful for every single one of you that are looking to continue to gain perspective here. I appreciate you all. But yeah, so to being able to do that and kind of planting your flag there. And again, it doesn't have to be with any like particular company or anything, but just know, like, for me, it's teaching. So I know that wherever I'm at, if I'm in the teaching spot, then I'll be able to endure what it actually takes to receive success in order to be able to go through the endless days and nights of sowing. Right.
So would you say that passion is necessary for success, or is it a really big?
For my definition of success, yes, because there's a lot of people, especially in this, 2023, TikTok age, where everything is like now. With my, I guess you could say, with my spiritual background, there's a lot of. And also just in general life, I mean, every single one of you listening has at least, I would assume, over 15 years, and there's been good times and there's been bad times. It's just the way that it works. So everyone is having good times when we're in the good times, because that's what the definition of good times is. How clear and how stable are we spiritually in the downtimes? How concreted, how clear are we? Or do we stick with the same thing? Do we know that we're doing the right thing? We just know that we're in the down season, or do we make a little shift, right? So having those types of having that type of clarity and having gone through the ups and downs enough to be able to make enough shifts and enough edits to where we know, okay, even in the down season, we're going to keep going and actually help down. Someone's
Foxy, come here. Come here.
and,
It's
and now, special guest, special.
Foxy, come here. Come here, Foxy. Come here.
So yeah, there she is. I wish you guys can you guys could be watching this on this YouTube video will stay on. So if you're listening to the audio, fast forward to minute number 65, and you'll be able to see the cutest kiss from Foxy Jeanette's dog to Jeanette.
He's our little mascot.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Foxy comes by the studio all the time and cheers the Las Reinas on.
Yeah, she judges too.
Oh, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go.
Point them toes.
Point them toes. Are you watching me? Look, point them toes. Let me see. So, what was it that I left off there? To be able to be secure in the downtimes, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, and that's yeah. So yes, I think passion for long-term success is the only thing that's going to have you endure and experience enough to be able to create something that's everlasting, evergreen. Because there's a lot of people that do really well in Q4, for lack of better words, every single year. Okay, that's great. What about year round? Or maybe perhaps it's only for a certain year or a certain period of years, and then your health tanks, or your relationship fails. So then how successful was it? And that's where I try to encompass a lot of things. I actually put for those of you that follow me on Instagram, it's Andres _ I think it's 4 Fs. It was sometimes that the straight line is not the fastest way. I don't know if I posted that, and it was one ball that kind of went around, and it actually got to the destination first. Just trying to encompass everything and build a wide enough foundation so that we can grow infinitely tall without a tornado, for lack of better words, coming, because they're going to come, metaphorically speaking. And unless that foundation is wide and strong enough, life will do its thing.
Yeah,
And
I know for me, passion has been. I've had to really trust in the passion that I have for dance. I've been through so many different seasons within it, starting off as young as being like a high schooler, middle schooler, and some teachers encouraging me, you're super talented, go for it. And some of them being like, okay, cool, what are you actually going to do with your life? And so battling between wanting to pursue something that I really loved, I just so happened to be really good at, and also being realistic. Okay, financially, everyone keeps telling me you're not going to make money in dance, you're not going to make a living off of it, and if you do, it's going to be very difficult. So like having so many different negative factors going against me growing up was really difficult, especially going into my adulthood, trusting in the path that I wanted to go. So much that I quit for 2 years and was like, okay, maybe I just find a regular job. And luckily, since I followed my passion, I was able to get back on track to what I feel like gives me purpose in life and what I'm meant to do. At least one of the main things what I'm meant to do. And if it weren't for the fire, that really strong passion that I have for it, like, I don't know, I feel like my life would have gone in a completely different way, and I wouldn't be doing what I love every single day and just living the life that I have now. So I owe it to my passion and for trusting in it, because without that passion, all the nights where I was super tired, my body hurt, all the no's I would get in auditions, getting denied here and there. Like there's just so many negatives to it as well. And,
for sure.
as long as you just just trust in that passion and keep going, you will go through those seasons and make your way back up.
Right. It essentially the hard work in any type of success is undeniable. That's not going to change. Now, will we have the wherewithal? Will we have the energy, the strength, the discipline, etc.? I think without knowing who we are, right? We go back to that enough to find out what's that thing that we would do for no pay. Granted, let's put it, make it a little bit easier. Okay, let's say you never go hungry and you're never sleeping outside. Okay, not saying you have a fancy house. No, you have a little tiny little bed and you're eating arroz con huevo every day. Okay, all right. So like but you on a soul level you would be fulfilled and you wouldn't be trying to seek more. That you feel that you're a contributor to society, that you're offering value. It's from that place, knowing that even when everything is gone, that you're still fulfilled.
Yeah.
You have nothing can destroy you. Nothing. You essentially, God has your back. It's the best way that I could put it. It's like everything can disappear, and you will still be happy. You will not want to, distract yourself with other things or whatever the case is. And then from there, obviously with hard work, people are going to see your value. They'll be able to, you create a system obviously for payments and whatever, and you make it more, efficient for everybody to experience you and your value essentially. Right. It may take longer than we expect. Because when I read the book, how old was I? 14? Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm gonna be a millionaire by 25. That was like obvious to me, like obvious. And yeah, that's obviously so not the case. At least not yet. So because there's more to learn, and that's essentially it. As long as we take responsibility in knowing that the only reason why we don't have the things that we want is because we're just not ready for them yet. And that hurts. That really hurts sometimes. Pero quien te manda, right? At the end of the day, everything is our fault. Everything is our fault. So step up to where people are going to pay you enough money so that you can go get those things, whatever those. I'm assuming it's material, right? Right. But finishing up with passion is starting off. What I was saying was, your time is limited. So to spend time doing other things that you're not passionate about, knowing that it's not going to end up getting anywhere, for me, that ended up being really clear. It's like, I'm not going to continue doing something that I know is only going to be temporary, or it's only Code of the Extraordinary Mind is a book that I finished reading not too long ago, and they talk about two different types of goals. The first one is, I forget the specific names, but it's like a goal that gets you to the next step. And then there's a goal end goals. Right. End goals is the other one. I forget what the first one is. Let's say like a stepping goal. That's not the name, but whatever. So stepping goals are a waste of time, essentially, is what he's talking about. Stepping goals are a waste of time because you can reach that next step by just executing from the end goal from the beginning, even though it may be more complicated. But essentially, you're going to be fulfilled throughout the entire journey because you're on your path of passion, I guess, if you could say. That's what's going to actually last, which is the point, versus, again, just trying to get by. Because then something's going to happen, it's going to wash it away, and you're going to have to start again new anyways. So what are you strong and clear enough about in yourself that you can literally plant the roots infinitely into the ground, and it doesn't matter anything that happens, even if you're just as a branch without any leaves, you're still there, and then come springtime, you're going to blossom again. So that's it for as far as for passion is concerned. And just like that, it's been an hour. Wild. Wow. But I get your questions have been amazing, Jenna. Do you have any more?
Yeah, really quick. So what would be some advice for someone, one, that is just starting to dance? What would be your best advice for the beginner student going in day one? What would be the best advice for them?
Realize why you're there, so that you can go to fulfill that why you're there. Most of the time, it's to release and to have fun, to express yourself. So if that's the case, do that. Don't worry about the technique portion of that. Let the instructor take care of that portion for you, and you focus on the relaxing and having a good time. Now, I've also experienced the radical side of that, where they're disrespecting the instructor and that whole deal. So of course, there's a middle ground for everything. But the point is definitely allow your instructor, allow your dance environment to be that place for you, to relax, to release, to connect with other people, to laugh, and to be yourself. Because often nowadays we're all so consumed by work that we have to be other people, and we have to please other people and that whole deal. And of course, that's always a good thing too. But again, to be able to unwind, and while at the same time learning a new skill that's fun, is definitely cool too. So yeah, that's definitely a lot more raw, and definitely a lot more like third dimension, I guess you could say, earthly. It's like, chill the fuck out. It's basically my advice. Like chill out, chill out, have fun, and your instructor will take care of the rest. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Last question. So you've been in this business for 17 years now, as far as owner of Salsa Kings.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for someone that wants to turn this into a business, to try and go down the road that you're going down?
Well, my advice would be, don't do it alone. My advice would be don't do it alone. Because it is only when I started to develop a team, when I developed the humility to realize that I can't do it alone, is when things started to pick up. Your words were very warming to me when you said, that basically you wanted to continue your passion, you wanted to make it happen. And apparently Salsa Kings was at least the start and was able to make that happen. So that's exactly what we want to do. We want to aid others. That whole starving artist, we want to break away from that. At least in the Latin social dancing realm, in our tiny little niche. If anyone wants to do that, well, then we got Salsa Kings is creating a licensing program, or not created a licensing program in order for you to be able to do that, if that's something that you want to do. Because we finally, after all these years, have created a system that's duplicatable in a business sense. Because you can have your passion all day and you can be fulfilled, but if you're not paying your bills, it's also that's not going to work, right? Unless you're willing to continue to go through the trials and the tribulations that I did for so many years by yourself. Okay. Salsateros called me before they were salsateros, and they said, "Hey, we're thinking about opening our own studio." I was like, "Don't do it." Just like that. Don't do it. And guess what? They were just like me, and they were like, "Excuse me? Don't do it? Okay, watch us." And they built it, and of course, everything happens for a reason, right? And they built it, and it was beautiful, but it lasted 9 months. And they had capital. A lot of us doing this thing was just kind of like a hobby and whatever. Now, granted, this is for people that are actually trying to make this their livelihood. There's a lot of people that are doing it as a hobby, as a side thing. If that's your goal for a side thing, just know that's good too. It's a side thing. It's going to be a side thing. It's not going to grow into a full-time thing, right? There's a huge difference between people that are doing it as their livelihood, like you and me, and there's other people that are doing it as a side thing. Side thing that's great too. But granted, at the end of the day, that is the difference. That is the actual technical definition between a professional, meaning it is their profession, versus someone that it is not. So we do definitely make that very clear. And because that's just the definition, that's what it is. And if you want to make this your, actually either one, if you want to make it either one, we have a platform for both. Whether you just want to keep it as a side thing, but having the aid and knowing that you'll have success right off the launch, or if you want to make this your livelihood at the same time, there is a way to be able to expand it and actually grow it to something that can provide that livelihood for you. It's something that we've been doing for a long time, simply because that's something that I've always wanted to do. I've seen others that have continued, because that's one thing that I've always seen. Schools popping up, like people want to do this. People want to do this. So so me having my background, I want to help. And so how do I do that? Well, then I got to figure it out. I got to do it. We got to have the system to where we're living off of this. We got to have our livelihood off of it first, right? Yeah. So then once we have that, which praise God we do, now is when we're actually able to streamline the system and begin to duplicate, which we're excited about. Which a lot of our old instructors and advanced students and stuff like that are the ones that are taking advantage of this, which is phenomenal, and the growth has been great recently. So yeah, don't do it alone. Is the shortest answer. And if you want, and if you kind of sort of maybe like the color red and the name Salsa Kings, well then you feel free to DM us.
Come on.
And we'll talk.
Awesome.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you, and just as a last thing, if you want to do your own name and you want to do your own thing, reach out to us anyway, and we'd love to help and we would love to support you, because there's a lot of collaboration that can be done with quote unquote competition. I think episode 16 is healthy competition, in the sense that we can very much work as a team, even though we're offering. And the thing is that we're probably not even going to be offering the same services. That's the thing. It's like there's so many little niches that we can find and support each other. We can promote an On2 school, and the On2 school promotes the casino school, and and it goes beyond so much more than styles too. It's vibes, it's age groups. There's completely different demographics. There's so much room. But that doesn't mean that you need to trip and fall in the same places that I did. I mean, unless you want to and you're a masochist, that's totally cool too.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, last thing, Andres, what are your future goals?
Wow. Okay. May I become now and forever a beacon for humanity, for those looking to speak a fulfilling and abundant life. Those are my goals. In the sense that obviously it's very zoomed out. But I want to be able to be somebody that other people that want to be fulfilled on a soul level and want to be abundant in their life experience throughout, that they have a model in order to be able to do that. And in my case, my passion is teaching. I just so happen to really like this salsa thing. My background is Cuban, so in my case, it happens to be around this brand Salsa Kings. So I, by default, am going to do what I can in my little niche to offer that opportunity for others. And then with that, hopefully, I'll be able to do workshops in my own studios across the country. Traveling in my little bus with my family in the back, and just literally just traveling. That's essentially the idea. As far as for the whole business aspect of it, is to be able to create residual income to then be able to live. I mean, praise God, I'm enjoying every step, every moment of this. Oh, Jeanette, did I lose you? Oh, I believe so. All right, well, she'll be back on shortly, but in order to finish her question, essentially, to create a business that creates residual income in order to be able to travel is essentially it. She'll probably be connecting back on here in a second. But either way, guys, it's definitely been a minute already, so actually I think we'll go ahead and close this out. Worst case scenario, if she doesn't come back on. But if you have any questions, guys, go ahead and write them up in the comments here. I'd love to be able to answer them. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Here, she's calling back in now. Perfect. Cool. Mic check 1 2. Jeanette. Oh, okay. All right, guys. I'll go ahead and end here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, I hope you guys were able to take some value out of this. And go ahead and write either Jeanette or myself with any questions or anything at all, any way that we can help, or if you're looking to advance your career in the Latin dance. Again, we'd love to be able to help, whether it's with Salsa Kings or otherwise. We'll go ahead and definitely make that happen together. You're back. We don't hear you. We don't hear you. Audio. She's coming back on now. There you go. Oh, no. One more time. Nope, not yet. Nope. See if you can run it off of the regular microphone if you have a regular microphone there. No, not yet. That's okay. No worries. Okay, I'll wrap it up. Perfect. I was wrapping it up anyway. Thank you guys so much. Jeanette's giving thumbs up. She loves you guys. We appreciate you, and we'll go ahead and see you next week. We have Alain Sanchez from Casino de Primera. We'll be interviewing him. He's going to be talking about teacher tips to be able to bringing life experiences into the classroom and be able to share those with students. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much. Salsa Kings Live, Jeanette Fiallo, Andres Fernandez, episode 100, Passion, signing out. Love you all so much. Bye-bye.